Imagine a young fisherman, hands hardened by the Galilean seas, never imagining that his name would echo through the centuries as one of the greatest testimonies of love and truth. This is John, the apostle who didn't just walk alongside Jesus, but dove into the very heart of the Master. We're not talking about just any man. This is someone who witnessed miracles, wept at the foot of the cross, and heard words that changed eternity. John wasn't merely a disciple. He was the beloved disciple, one who drew so close to the light that his life became a beacon. Every step of his story, every scene the Bible reveals, carries lessons that span generations. These truths never age because they speak to our own struggles, hopes, and search for meaning. In this video, you won't just hear about John. You'll walk with him, feel the power of his choices, and perhaps see yourself reflected in his journey. His story, in some way, is also ours. Prepare yourself. What you're about to witness isn't just biography. It's revelation, it's poetry, it's an encounter with the eternal. John isn't just a memory of the past. He's a call to live the present with eyes turned toward what never fades. And before we step into this journey, I invite you, as you watch, share in the comments if you've had an experience with John's message that has marked your faith. Every testimony adds life to another heart. On the quiet swing of nets on the Sea of Galilee, John and his brother James had no idea their lives were about to be rewritten. One look, one voice, and Jesus' invitation thundered softly, impossible to ignore. The call wasn't merely to follow, but to abandon old habits and embrace a destiny that would span time. Every step beside the Master was a lesson in courage, faith, and surrender. John saw there, in the simple act of casting nets, the first great metaphor of his journey. He learned that true work isn't just physical. The greatest rewards are born of trust in the unseen. This moment nudges us to reflect. How many calls do we ignore in our own lives? John invites us to notice that the call often comes disguised in routine, in work, or in ordinary people. And as he rises, leaving behind the nets and the security of fishing, we feel with him the nervous excitement of change, the mingling of anxiety and hope. What would it be like to follow a life with no guarantees, but with absolute purpose? And it's in this moment of decision that his story leads us to the next chapter, where John witnesses miracles that defy human understanding, opening our eyes to the power that resides in belief. John walked beside Jesus and saw the impossible become reality before his eyes. Each miracle wasn't just a display of power, but a silent lesson on faith, love, and trust. He watched water turned into wine, signs that broke human logic, showing that life could be more abundant than anyone imagined. John realized that miracles are windows to God's heart, open for those who dare to believe. Watching the multiplication of loaves and fishes, he felt that small actions, when blessed, can transform multitudes. He learned that generosity and faith go hand in hand, and every gesture matters in the grand design of life. And when healings and resurrections crossed his path, John realized that Jesus' love knows no bounds. Each restored life reminded him that hope exists even in the darkest moments. These miracles, witnessed so closely, weren't merely for admiration. They were invitations to reflect on our own world. What in our life needs a touch of faith to be transformed? And so, as John experiences the supernatural, he prepares for moments of extreme intensity, standing firm even in the face of betrayal and pain, leading us to the next chapter. John was not just a follower. He was the beloved disciple, the one who sat closest, who heard Jesus' words with an open heart. Every gesture of the Master was etched in his soul as if eternal. He walked along the lakeshore, conversed at sunset, and understood that true closeness isn't measured by time, but by depth. John learned that intimacy requires attention, silence, and total surrender. In the simplest moments, he felt immense lessons. A compassionate glance, a hand extended to the fallen, a smile that healed hearts. John teaches that genuine presence transforms lives without grand words. In his quiet reflections, he realized knowing Jesus isn't just memorizing words, it's living the love he revealed. Every moment with the Master was a school of courage, patience, and life. For us, this intimacy sparks a vital question. How many moments do we let slip without noticing the divine in our routine? John invites us to see the sacred in the ordinary. And as he draws ever closer to Jesus' heart, his destiny intertwines with the pain, courage, and loyalty that will come at the cross, leading us to the next chapter, the passion and suffering of the Savior. John stood there, at the foot of the cross, as the world seemed to crumble and heaven fell silent at Jesus' suffering. He felt every blow, every tear, as if they were his own wounds opened wide. The beloved disciple witnessed the deepest love revealed in total surrender, realizing that pain can carry purpose. Every cry, every sigh of the Master resonated into eternity, teaching courage and fidelity. He heard Jesus' final words and understood that even in agony there is a call to life, care, and hope. John treasured that moment as the most precious gem of his existence. There, John received a responsibility that would span centuries, to care for Mary, the Savior's mother, and to witness the love that does not die even in death. It was a mission demanding unwavering heart and spirit. For us, this moment challenges us to face our own crosses. How can we maintain faith when all seems lost? John shows us that it's possible to find light even in the darkest shadow. And as he leans on the strength of the Master and the promise to come, we see that the story does not end at the cross. A new chapter approaches, full of revelation and transformation, the resurrection. John ran first to the empty tomb, heart pounding between doubt and hope. Every stone rolled away was a sigh of eternity, a sign that death held no final word. Seeing the tomb open, he understood that miracles greater than eyes can see happen when faith remains steadfast. Life rises where hope seems lost. He entered the tomb, looked at the linens, and felt the impossible become reality. John realized that resurrection is not just history. It's an invitation to transform our own lives. Every encounter with the risen Christ ignited courage in John that cannot be extinguished, the certainty that true love transcends suffering and fear. Faith is the bridge from yesterday's pain to tomorrow's light. Witnessing Jesus alive, John understood that the mission of following and teaching doesn't end at the removed stone, but expands to touch hearts across all eras. Hope had to be shared. With the certainty of resurrection, John prepares to receive divine inspiration that will lead him to write and reveal the profound secrets of God's heart, opening the next chapter, his letters and the gospel. John sat in silence, soul imprinted with all he had witnessed, and began to write. Each word was more than ink on paper. It was an echo of God's heart to the world. He gave us the gospel, the letters and visions, recording not just events, but the essence of love that transforms and liberates. His words travel centuries, touching hearts with the same power they once touched the disciples. Writing was no easy task. It required a living memory, courage to reveal truths, and sensitivity to translate divine experiences into human language. John teaches that telling the truth requires passion and fidelity. Each letter sent to Christian communities carried comfort and warning, reminding that faith and love walk together. He knew the right word at the right moment could change a life forever. And in writing about love, John spoke not just of the Master, but of the relationship between each reader and God. He invites reflection. Are we allowing the Word to truly transform our hearts? As his words spread across the world, John prepares for the ultimate chapter that marks eternity, visions of the future, the revelation leading to the next topic. On the island of Patmos, isolated, John received visions that pierced through centuries with intensity and mystery. Every image was an invitation to grasp the eternal and reflect on human fragility before the divine. He saw thrones, trumpets, and horses, but also the promise of redemption and the triumph of love over all suffering. Revelation doesn't frighten. It awakens hope for those who choose to remain faithful. John understood that time is only a thread before eternity, and every human decision echoes in the grand design of history. He reminds us that our choices carry weight far beyond the immediate. As prophecies unfolded before his eyes, John recorded each detail with reverence and precision. His words are not mere warnings, they are guides for those walking in the light. Amid the visions, he teaches that even when the world seems to collapse, a greater purpose works silently. Present chaos does not erase the promise of future glory. And so, heart pulsing between fear and hope, John prepares for the final legacy of his life, teaching, inspiring, and showing that love endures eternally, leading into the next chapter, perseverance and exile. Exiled on Patmos, John faced loneliness, trials, and uncertainty, yet never let despair take hold. Each day away from the world became a deeper encounter with God. The harsh, barren island became a school of endurance, patience, and reflection. John teaches that true strength emerges from faith, sustained in the toughest moments. He wrote, meditated, and prayed, understanding that isolation wasn't punishment, but opportunity to draw nearer to the divine. Every hardship carried a hidden lesson in courage and hope. As waves crashed against the rocks, John realized perseverance isn't just enduring, it's transforming suffering into testimony and light. He invites us to find purpose even in adversity. Even far from everyone, his voice echoed through the words he wrote. John shows that a faithful life can inspire generations without applause or earthly recognition. And in the silence of exile, he prepares to return to the communities and continue guiding and inspiring, leading to the next chapter, John as pastor and guardian of faith. Returning to the communities, John became guide, mentor, and comfort to those facing doubt and persecution. His presence was solid as a rock, yet warm as a hearth. He didn't just teach. He lived the love he preached, showing that true faith is action and care, not just words. John reminds us that leadership is serving with a humble heart. Through counsel and letters, he strengthened hope, reminding that faith is a beacon illuminating even the darkest nights. Every gesture reflected the light of the Master he once followed. When divisions or doubts arose, John responded with patience and wisdom, guiding souls with both gentleness and firmness. He shows that truth must be defended with love, never with violence. Every community he visited learned that faith is endurance, love, and persistence. John became a bridge between the human and divine, reminding us that every life can be transformed by the sacred. And as he strengthened generations, his mission wasn't over. A final, profound lesson approached, guiding us to the ultimate chapter about John's legacy and call to future generations. John ended his earthly journey, knowing the message of love and faith would span centuries. Every word, every gesture, every tear became a seed of eternity. He showed us that true legacy isn't in wealth or titles, but in hearts transformed by love and hope. John proves that life gains meaning by touching the lives of others. His writings continue to inspire millions, reminding that faith, courage, and love shine even in the fiercest storms. John invites us to live our calling with intensity. Reflecting on his story, we see that every challenge, victory, and suffering had a higher purpose. He teaches us to view our own journey with eyes of meaning and hope. Even as time passes, his voice resonates. Love without limits, believe without reservation, persevere without fear. John reminds us that we're part of a greater narrative beyond the visible. Today, his legacy is an open invitation. How will you write your own story of faith, love, and courage? Share your experiences in the comments and inspire others to walk this path too. John's story washes over us like an unbreaking wave, reminding that courage, faith, and true love are eternal. Every step he took reveals that even the most human hearts can touch the divine. He showed that calling, miracles, intimacy with Jesus, and perseverance through suffering are invitations to live fully. John inspires us to turn pain into lessons and hope into action. His writings continue to speak, crossing generations, showing that words guided by love transform lives and strengthen souls. Each message is a lighthouse in the storm. John's legacy challenges us. How are we cultivating faith, love, and courage? How are we leaving seeds that will touch hearts through time? And as we reflect on this journey, we feel we're not just hearing about a man from the past. We're invited to live today with the same purpose and intensity John lived. So if this video touched your heart, share your experiences in the comments, inspire others with your story. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. John's journey continues in each of us, and the next step is ours to take.